Hello, my name is Ira Hyde, and I want to welcome you to this NCBOLD video. Today we are going to look at unleashing the AI superpower, engaging research with cutting-edge tools. Again, my name is Ira Hyde. I am the Instructional Technology Facilitator for Haywood County Schools. If you are unaware of where Haywood County is, it is on the Tennessee border. So if you hop on I-40 and travel west, we are the last county you are in before you hit Tennessee. I have been teaching since 2002. I have an elementary background. I was at Junaluska Elementary School for 19 years. The last 9 of those years while I was there, I was the media coordinator. And in 2021, I moved into my current role as an ITF for the entire district. I serve 14 schools. We have 14 schools in our district, so I'm the only ITF here. So I am enjoying my time with that. So we will get started. First off, NCBOLD is designed to support educators in the use of digital tools and technology to enhance learning outcomes. NCBOLD strives to model best practices for educators, including data privacy and cybersecurity. As such, we want educators to be aware of the importance of following North Carolina's third-party vendor policy and using tools. As such, educators should follow the district's policy and consult with their district's technology department prior to signing up students for digital tools. So today's session video is aligned to our ISTE standards, which are our North Carolina digital learning standards. And I have these listed here. You are welcome to read those in the PowerPoint or the Google slide that I have shared with you on the bit.ly. So I'm not going to read all the way through these, so we will continue. So the purpose of this session is to familiarize yourself with all the free resources, free being our key word, that are provided to us in NC by NCDPI. We will briefly look at these and see what resources might be useful in lesson planning. So today you will learn about those free tools, understand the benefits and questions of using AI while lesson planning, familiar yourself with some different generative AI models, and hopefully you will use this information to help you create a lesson or a unit with these free resources that NCDPI so graciously gives us. Again, I have objectives here and how they relate to our standards. So I have that for you as well. But first, let's look into these freebies. Now, I'm going to go back and forth between NC Cloud and this presentation. So the first thing you need to do is to log into your NC Cloud account. And whenever you are in NC Cloud, these are the things highlighted here are the things that we are going to look at in depth today. So first off, I want to show you a little organizational tool that you might see or that you could use in NC Cloud. If you're like me, you don't use all of these probably, but several of them you would like to use and get to without having to maybe scroll or whatnot with that. So on the each tile here that's represented, if you notice, there is a little bookmark. Some of them are blank, they've not been checked. Some of them have been, and they're colored in red. So if it's something that you use frequently, I would select it and have it colored in red. So what that does is that bookmarks, obviously, that tile. But on the left-hand side, if you notice, there are two check boxes. One says all, which is what I currently have selected, or one says bookmarks. So if I choose bookmarks instead, it's only going to show me the items that you bookmarked. So those are the most recent things that you could use. So, or the things that you might want to keep in easy access to. So you can go click back and forth. So, and you can, if you want to get rid of it, you can check it again, and that deselects it. So that is that. So the first thing that we will look at is Britannica School. And if you are unfamiliar with that, Britannica School is an online encyclopedia for all three levels of K-12, elementary, middle, and high school. There's also two different Spanish encyclopedias. You have access to an online dictionary. You can change the reading level. You can share directly to Google Classroom or Google Drive. So if I click on Britannica, because I have an elementary background, I'm going to choose the elementary side. And so you can see it is a very vivid, engaging site for students. And remember, these resources are also available to students as in their NCED Cloud account as well. So we have each person has equal access to this. So if you notice, there's biographies, pictures, just like a regular encyclopedia. So the animal section is amazing. So this is a great thing to really take a look at. So I'm going to choose, I'm going to search for an article or about something. So I'm going to choose hurricane. We're in the middle of hurricane season, so I want to choose one of these. So I'm going to do a tropical cyclone. And notice what it does is it gives me some text, and notice how it kind of breaks it up into different sections. But also in each section, you notice there is a read aloud function. It will allow read aloud for students that might need that. Also, on the right-hand side, there is a globe that says translate. You can translate this into just about any language you can think of, and it will read it aloud to them in that language as well. Also, you see that there are some graphics, some different imagery here. Also, there are videos, and the good thing about this, your district may block certain things. These are already vetted, and so these are safe to view instead of just randomly going to YouTube and typing something and may get something that you don't want students to see. So also it gives specific vocabulary that would link it to another page. If you wanted to share to a Google Drive, you can click right here. You can also share this directly to a Google Classroom. And so it's very easy to get that information out. You could email that, however. But another thing, you can print, and when you print, I would just choose, that gives you the text only, but I would choose to save it as a PDF if you want to look at that for using for text features or marking up the text. You can use it for something like that. So I am going to select some of this text for future reference. And I'm going to just copy that to my clipboard, and you'll see why here in a little bit. You can change the level. So when I click on reading level 2, basically what it does is it takes me into the middle school version of this. Same information, just a little harder reading difficulty level. And same as if I choose level 3, it's going to bump it on up as well. So that is Britannica kind of in a nutshell. EBSCO staff, this is probably my favorite. You have Explora databases for K-12. You have access to ebooks. The new publication finder, that is my most favorite tool in EBSCO. It gives you access to magazines for free. And when I say free, I mean free. There are lots of research options here and other teacher resources. And so I have linked a title list for magazines that are available. I'm going to click on that. What you need to go to find the specific list for the magazines that are available is this is a huge list, but I scroll all the way down to primary search. And I see periodicals right here. I'm going to click on HTML. You can choose an Excel spreadsheet if you wanted to do it that way. But here's a list of all the magazines in the primary search that are available. Any Scholastic magazine, like if your school uses Scholastic News, you can get these for free. I know many schools have paid for those subscriptions in the past. And I know here in my district, when I've shown my administrators this, they have been super excited that they can access this now and the students can access this. So again, by sharing to Google Drive or Canvas, however, with the link, you can do it that way as well. But a couple of things on this that you can see. For example, the American Girl magazine, I know that's very popular. Unfortunately, we do not have the full text version. It just gives us an abstract. Let's say here, let me try one here. The science magazine Dig. So you can see the Cricket Media. Cricket Media is great, by the way. The magazine Dig, I have full text until it was like that magazine ended, but it gives me all the articles up to 2014. Now notice some of these have a Y beside them. That means yes, that you will be able to see the full page images and text just as if you had the magazine in front of you. So with that said, I'm going to go back to EBSCO staff. And choose New Publication Finder Interface. I am going to search for Boys Life. And again, that's that I choose primary search. I choose that just because of the elementary level. You can search for master file. Any one of these would give you access to that. But I always choose primary search just because of my elementary students. So when I scroll down here, here's my magazine information. And you noticed I have issues from September 2024. So it is the most current issue all the way back to 1989. So I have all of these back issues. So if I choose the most current issue here, what it does is it takes that magazine and splits it up into all the different articles. So you're not having to go through an entire magazine. It breaks it up into the articles itself. So if I choose Pack Leaders, notice I have two different access options. Now remember, on that list that showed all the magazines, that one column gave you the option of Y, yes, it has the PDF, full text, full images. So when I click on PDF, what it will do is it will give you this as if you had the magazine in front of you. So from here, you can, as long as if you're following copyright, and not distributing, you have the availability to download the PDF. You can share this. Notice you can share to your Google Drive. You can save it there, Google Classroom. Now, when you share it to Google Classroom or you create a link and put that in Canvas for your students to use, in order for them to be able to see this, they will have had to have logged into NC Cloud first, because that is what gives them access. Because this is coming from EBSCO, which is a paid database. And remember, DPI pays for this. So again, this is free for you. But in order to the students to have access to that, they have to be logged into NC Cloud. So just keep that in mind. If you do this and you're like, it's not working, more than likely your students have not logged into NC Cloud. So keep that in mind. So I have several different options to share with my students. So the PDF version is one way to access this, and I'll show you what it looks like. The online full text, it's just that. It just gives you the text. And so, I think of prepping for end of grade tests for third grade up. You can look at these articles for, building stamina, or however you so choose, especially with nonfiction text, because that is a biggie. So that is EBSCO, New Publication Finder. I hope you can see why I love that so much, because again, you have access to all of these magazines. So now, if you choose that back on that title list, if you go back and choose master file, you can go in and look at it, not just student magazines. You can look at magazines for yourself. For example, I am a media coordinator leader here in my district, and one of their professional journals is School Library Journal, and the subscription is a rather pricey subscription, but we can get it for free on here. So if you like Consumer Reports, if you like that magazine, guess what? It's free on here. So in that publication finder, look for magazines for yourself. We have access to this, so why not use this for yourself as well as for your students? So I think that's a pretty cool plus for us to have that. So that is EBSCO. Also, Go Open NC is another resource. It is a free library of open education resources. Basically, it is lesson plans that is curated or put together by NC educators. Now, some of these lesson plans are from all over the United States, but North Carolina teachers have put all these together where it matches our standards. So I'm not going to take time to go through that. You can, if you notice, you can look by subject, grade level, and whatever standard that you so choose. Another thing in NC Ed Cloud are our NC Educator resources. and NC student resources. So let me show you that. So our educator resources, when I click on that, it is going to give me and send me to links of all of these wonderful resources that you can do as far as science and social studies content. Now, another one on here that I highly recommend is PBS Learning Media. If you have not used this before, I encourage you to do so, because it is a free place for lesson plans as well. But not only does it give you a lesson plan, it gives you videos, it gives you images, primary documents, things like that. So it is an amazing source. Again, it is completely free, not a paid subscription. So, that's what I'm all about. I love free stuff. And it's great stuff because it is aligned to the North Carolina Standard Course of Study. So, love PBS. So that is all located in the NC Educator resources. So if I go back to the student resources, it is very similar. So it gives them, the students, a place to go and find these resources as well in their NC Ed Cloud account. So we're going to skip this part. This was for our in session. So think about how you can use those free NC Ed Cloud resources that we just discovered. How could you use those in your classroom? But now we're going to jump on the AI train. How many of you, or what is your thoughts about AI? I know some people are a little nervous and hesitant about it. We need to have lots of training ourselves as educators before we ever expect our students to use AI. We need to know how to use it ourselves. So how is it really impacting our lives currently? So we can think about our smartphones. Most of us, I would say 99% of us carry a smartphone, whether an iPhone or an Android device. Many of us use social media. Think about our security systems in our homes, or if we have like Ring cameras or Blink cameras, all of those things. How many of you traveled over the summer? You may have used something like Waze or Google Maps or Apple Maps. All of those things have AI built into them. Even you think about Alexa if you have an Alexa device, if you have smart thermostats, all of those use some sort of AI in order to work. So generative AI, that's the term that we are using now. Generative AI tools are artificial intelligence tools that generate text, images, audio, video, and code. When presented with a natural language prompt by the user, the model then predicts the next word or pixel based on its training data and the context provided in the user's prompt, resulting in an original output each time. So North Carolina DPI has put out their own implementation recommendations and considerations for us. So I encourage you, if you have never seen this document, to please read through this. It is updated very frequently because, as we know with technology, AI is changing very rapidly. And so it is, like I said, changing. And notice the most recent change was in August 5th. So Vera Cubero, she was the Western Region Digital Consultant. She is now the Emerging Technologies Consultant for North Carolina for DPI. She is a wealth of information for when it comes to AI. So reach out to her if you need clarification on this document, or to your regional consultant, but it is a wonderful resource. Your school district also will be implementing guidelines, so if they haven't already, be on the lookout for those in your district. So generative AI builds from these subcategories here. So artificial intelligence is that the theory and methods to build machines that think and act like humans. So machine learning is the ability for computers to learn from experience or data without human input. That deep learning mimics the human brain using artificial neural networks such as transformers to allow computers to perform complex tasks, which in turn leads to generative AI, which is something that generates new text, audio, images, video, or code based on content that it has been pre-trained on. So like ChatGPT, Perplexity, Bard, which is now Google Gemini, all of these things have been pre-trained with data. And so it is constantly being updated. Some are more up to date than others. So most of these have a free version. There is a paid version that gives you a little more up-to-date information on some of these. So if you are just starting, I recommend just sticking with the free version. One that I encourage teachers to use is magicschool.ai. If you haven't looked at that, and we are going to look at Magic School in just a minute. So I encourage you to do that. But before we input anything into a generative AI tool, we have to be very mindful about personally identifiable information, or PII. So it's a red flag, as the GIF is showing, for us to put any of these into a generative AI tool. Don't ever put their photo, a student's photo, obviously their social security number. A lot of people forget that their Power School number, their student ID number, now Infinite Campus for many of you, that number is super important that we keep secure. When you're sending emails, don't ever use their ID number in an email. But all of these things are personally identifiable information that we want to keep from putting in a generative AI tool. So again, some of those that I told you about that I have linked in my presentation: ChatGPT, Claude is another one. Adobe Firefly is an image generator. It's also available in Canva. I know a lot of people use Canva for creating things. AI is built into those magic tools in Canva, so it's a great thing. Perplexity is probably my favorite because you can link it back to actually pulling information and citing your sources from the internet. And again, we're going to look at Magic School. In order to use a generative AI tool correctly, you need to be able to give it a powerful prompt. And what I mean by prompt, that's the thing that you're going to ask it to do. So you want to be very specific in the context of that prompt. You want to assign that AI tool a role. For example, you are an excellent 8th grade math teacher. So that in turn lets that AI tool know what the audience is. I want it for an 8th grade student. I want this to be created for an 8th grade parent, so on and so forth. The format, you can choose whatever format you want it to give you, and you want to make sure that you give it a tone. Do you want it to be friendly, a professional tone if you're creating like an email to send to someone, or a letter that might go home to all your students, to their families? How do you want that letter to be perceived? Do you want it friendly? Do you want it professional? So on and so forth. So these AI tools can help us very much. But again, this does not take the place of a good teacher. It just hopefully will help assist you. So again, thinking about those resources that we looked at in NC Cloud, you can use any of these tools for creation for something for your lesson plans, or that you might want to have for your students to do an activity. But you also may use Magic School to create your lessons. Whoops, let me go. I'm going to stop that and go back. Whoops. So we're going to look at Magic School really quick. Again, you can sign up for free. I'm going to go ahead and do that. I've already signed up, so I'm going to log in here. So if you notice, all of these tools right here are free that you can have Magic School do for you. So for example, remember I took that text from Britannica about hurricanes. So I want to change the level of that text. So I just search for level. Well, here's a text leveler that I can take any text and adapt it to any grade level to fit reading skills. So I want that text that I had, I want to bump that up to about a 9th grade level, because remember, it was an elementary level. So here's where I can paste that text that I copied. So here is that text, and I'm going to click Generate. So it is now taking that text and making it the difficulty level a little bit harder. So then I could put this into a Google Doc or a Word document and change or give that to my students. You can also create depth of knowledge questions. You can, let me get back out of this. You can see all kinds of things to do. You can create SMART goals with this. So if you think about your PDP as you're starting the new school year, you can use it to help you create your PDP. You can take that. I'm going to look at that text again, and I'm going to have it create a list of vocabulary words from this. And I want to put that back at 5th grade. I want 5 words for it to choose out from this. So let's see what happens here. So it pulled these 5 words or things out. So then you can do whatever you want to with that. So again, there's a wealth of tools in here that you can use for Magic School, from Magic School to help. So I encourage you to take some of these resources that we've talked about and use a generative AI tool to help you create lessons. I'm going to keep going here. If you have a good lesson that you want to share, again, from my bit.ly, you can go into my presentation and share to the Wakelet collection. But I appreciate you taking the time to watch this video, and hopefully you have something that you can take with you back to your own desk to create meaningful lessons for your students. Feel free to email me at the email address you see there on your screen. I appreciate your time, and thank you so much for listening. Have a wonderful day.